My HGV Insurance is proud to sponsor Trucking TV. Let us take the stress out of arranging your HGV insurance.
Wonderful thing about doing live video when we're trying to do a production is that it works sometimes. Okay, here we go. That's much better. What we're trying to do now on Trucking TV is present some live news programs, and what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, is actually trying to put them together in a way that that kind of works reasonably well. And it's all a big experiment. Unusually for anyone who's doing any kind of broadcast, we're actually inviting you to take part in the experiment, if you like, just to see how it goes. I don't know how it's going to go. We don't know what it's going to look like from your end of the camera, if you like, right now. I don't know what it looks like. That's really kind of quite exciting, isn't it, really, from my point of view? But there you go. What we're trying to do with the weekly and midweek shows on Trucking TV is to keep you up to date with the news, to keep you up to date with what's happening in the industry, and to try and get more and more discussion going so that people can actually come to a consensus of opinion and maybe make that opinion a bit more appreciated by the powers that be. We all know what drivers want. We know that drivers really want to get a lot better living conditions. There you go. A lot of drivers think they want a lot more wages. We're going to talk about that one in upcoming programs. A lot of drivers think they need a lot more, let's say, truck stop type facilities because there are just not enough of those. And there's lots of other stuff. The issue really is to get people together to actually make a big enough audience so that the people who are able to achieve things and to do things will start to listen to us. So that's what we're trying to do with this show. Bear in mind, gentlemen and ladies, that this show is sponsored. We're sponsored by a small insurance brokerage called My HGV Insurance. They're really nice guys, and they work very hard on behalf of owner drivers and on behalf of small hauliers. If you have any interest in that area, get in touch with them because I'm sure they'll be able to help you. Okay, there's links to them on the website and links to their phone number. Now, let's get on with today's show. What are we going to run first? I think the first thing I want to talk about is, oh, heavens, it's at the bottom of the page, but there you go. I'll get it at the top of the page. One of the things that we keep a fairly good eye on with Trucking TV is road accidents, because they're important, because they reflect information back to us and they show us what's going on in the world. This one, here we go. This one, I don't know whether you saw this on the Trucking TV page, but I thought this one was at least something of a tragedy for both the person involved and for the driver involved, because this is a fatal accident where an old gent was walking down the road. He saw the truck come past because the driver said that he actually made eye contact with the man. And as the truck passed him, we assume that the old chap walked out literally to cross the road and walked into the truck, as it were. He was, I'm very sad to say, killed. The driver immediately stopped, jumped out of the truck, tried to get the truck off him, but the man was dragged along with his clothes. It's really a sad accident, and I think it sounds like the police, I think, have exonerated the driver because they've said he could do nothing about it. It's very sad, and I just would like to record our sympathies, really, for both the families of the gentleman who was killed and for that driver. I think he deserves our sympathy because, I think like most people in this kind of accident, he didn't see what was happening. He didn't see the man walk into the truck. He didn't see the accident actually happen. He saw nothing, and he had no chance to do anything about it. So I think he deserves our sympathy and understanding. Okay. This is a story that got me into a bit of a trouble with with one or two of our readers on Trucking TV on the Facebook page, because people said, well, this is happening all the time. It is not news. It's a press release from Cheshire Constabulary, who were talking about people getting fuel or experiencing fuel thefts up and around Chester. And I thought it was worth putting up as a notice because people forget. We all know that thievery of fuel goes on in the world. I'm sure on any given night there are people out there getting diesel out of your tanks. But the reality is that if it hasn't happened to you, you forget. So I would say we're going to publish this anytime we get it because it's worth reminding you. It's worth reminding people that this kind of crap behaviour, sorry fellas, this kind of crap behaviour goes on all the time. And I think it is disgusting. And I think we ought to trample all over the people who do it. I don't know how we'd trample all over them, but I guess we ought to. Okay, next little item that came up during the week was actually a piece of good news. And I really like this one. Apparently Kent County Council have said that they're looking into opening a number of smaller truck stops in their fair county to reduce or stop illegal truck parking. I think this is an excellent story. Is it going to be another one of those cases where, people talk about it a lot and nothing happens? But I think drivers really ought to look at getting involved with this kind of thing, especially if rubbish has happened to you, bad experiences with things like Operation Stack and so on. I think what we'll try and do, perhaps, if people are interested, we'll come down and film or the next time there's an Operation Stack in place in Dover. We'll come down and have a look and see how you're getting on, see what you think. I think this sounds like a really good idea. Let's get more truck stops. There is a campaign on TruckNet, currently on the forum TruckNet, a campaign on there to get signatures to encourage the formation or the forming of more truck stops around the UK in general, but certainly some decent truck stops in Kent would help. Okay, we'll come back to that as a separate story because it's already there's already something else going on around that, which I might as well tell you about. I don't think it's been publicised in the trucking media, but it certainly has been in the local media around the Thurrock area, around London Gateway. London Gateway, the port themselves, are having a proper truck stop built. Apparently, it's going to have 440 spaces. It's going to have proper catering facilities, etc. London Gateway, the Port of London Gateway, got planning permission for this back in December. And to be absolutely honest with you, I've tried to get information from them a couple of times, and they've said, yes, we'll tell you, and nothing's happened. So I'll keep banging on at them and see whether we can get some information out of London Gateway about the truck stop that's going to happen apparently on their site. I'm really hoping that happens soon. Okay, the last story I want to bring up on this particular section of the show is this one, which is EU member states call for action on low-paid truck drivers. There's a lovely phrase in there. I don't know whether you can see it, but there is. Oh, sorry, I haven't pressed the right button. Sorry about that. Let's just get to that. Here we go. Yeah, so member states call for action on low-paid truck drivers. That's a really interesting story. Apparently, the French transport minister had a right old go about this, and said that really a lot of the drivers are, he called them road slaves, was his phrase. And that really comes across quite strongly, doesn't it? Because I think almost every driver in the UK knows or has contacted or has talked to or has probably sworn at one or two of our foreign driver friends, the famous flip-flops. And I don't know. I think the reality is that those guys really live a rubbish kind of life, don't they? Live an awful life. The last time I remember seeing some of them was down at Dover, where they were on that flyover. This way we camped there for a week or two. Those guys seem to be available to work, if not working 7 days a week. And I think maybe for the money they're working on, nobody knows. It's all kind of anecdotal, isn't it? Because people are talking about people earning £2.50 an hour plus grub or something. Is this happening? What is anybody doing about it? It looks as if the police aren't really doing much about it because they probably don't feel they can do much. So where do we go with that one? Don't know. Chris Atkinson, hello Chris, says there's a lot of DERV theft in Lincolnshire. It's going on all around the place, isn't it? And it really is a bit of a problem. I'd like to know what actually happens in these, and if someone is coming to Felixstowe in the near or distant future, one or the other, and has experienced some diesel theft from their vehicle or has the evidence on the fuel tank, I'd like to see it really, to see what these guys do, and we'll film it and show other people. Can you get over it by locking devices? Can you get over it by security devices? Jolly good question. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about tonight is tracking TV, because one of the things we're going to try and do over the next couple of weeks with the live shows is to actually get more content into them. So, for instance, in this show, we had hoped to have someone from Kent County Council, and we'd hoped to have someone from London Gateway to talk to us and tell us about what they're planning, because I think it's really important that you know what's happening, because you're the guys who are actually out there doing the job. I think we really should have had some input from Kent County Council, and we'll keep banging on at them and keep asking them when they're going to tell us what's actually happening. But in the meantime, can I encourage drivers to actually have a look at the piece about the Kent County Council consultation that's on Tracking TV's Facebook page? Have a look at it. Dig up the actual original. There is a link to the original. Find the original stuff from Kent County Council, and if you can, put in your own views on what they need, because you're the guys who count in this issue. It's not councillors, it's not residents. The guys who drive the trucks, they're the guys who have this particular problem, and they are the guys who need to get it solved. So let's see what you've got to say. Okay, that's quite important. The other thing to say to you is that we are looking again for more people to take part in our Drivers' Days film series. We'll be doing at least another one of those every month from here on in. So I hope that if you're interested, you might get in touch and we'll come along and film you do your job. I'm particularly interested to meet or to hear from tipper drivers, from curtain cider men, and from guys driving big rigids about in big cities particularly, because that's a tough job and I'd like to be able to show that. Okay, this is Tracking TV. We are live now, and we're now going offline for a few hours because it's Sunday night and I'm going to drink a very large glass of wine. Okay, our next show is at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of February 2017. We'll be online on Facebook here, and I hope you'll be able to join us. If you've got anything to say, tell me I'm rubbish if you like, but if you've got anything to say, you're very welcome to say it. Okay, I'll see you soon.
Why not give us a call on 0161 410 1061 when you're arranging your HGV insurance, or visit our website at www.myhgvinsurance.co.uk or our Facebook page at HGV Insurance, and let us take the stress out of arranging your HGV insurance.